It looks like the Pearson family car landed its hands in two very well-known new owners. Chris Sullivan, who played Toby Damon on This Is Us, revealed all recently about the fate of his Jeep. So who ended up buying the famous vehicle? And is there any other This Is Us related news right now? We'll be letting you in on all the details as the video progresses, so be sure to stick around till the end. So, who bought this car in question? The Pearson family car is, as anyone who watched the show will know, a 1990 Jeep Grand Wagoneer, which dutifully served Jack and Rebecca Pearson for many years and throughout several trips on This Is Us, which just a few months ago premiered its series finale, wrapping up after 6 seasons and a little over 100 episodes. Now that the show is concluded, the studio is slowly figuring out what to do with the leftover props and such, and the vehicles used on the show are no exception. Naturally, one of the more valuable commodities. Chris Sullivan, who played Kate Pearson's ex-husband and the father of Haley and Jack Damon, took to Instagram in late August to tell the world what happened to the old Jeep. You see, he let it be known that he and his wife Rachel had bought the vehicle themselves from the show's producers after the conclusion of season 6. However, there's a little more to the story than that. As it turns out, as the actor explained in the clip, the show actually made use of 2 Jeeps to represent the family's car. This sort of thing is done pretty frequently in film and television, not just with something as complex as a working vehicle, but with simple props as well, as it's just handy to have a backup in case there are any issues with one of them on the day of filming. So what about the other Jeep? Well, the second vehicle also has a pair of buyers, and Sullivan revealed who that one went to in a rather cheeky way. He asked the fans to guess who had bought the other one, and then had the camera pan toward Ben and Erin Napier, stars of HGTV Hometown, driving the other Jeep. Ben then thanked Chris and Rachel for telling them about the Jeep, saying that they wouldn't have gotten it if not for letting them know that they were selling not just one, but 2 Pearson family Jeeps. Rachel cut in during that, saying that This Is Us doesn't need the Jeeps anymore. They then embarked on a conversation about what they should call their car. Ben suggested that they name it Jack, of course referring to Jack Pearson, played by Milo Ventimiglia, who was the family patriarch and owner of the Jeep in the show. Of course, his wife was sure to add that naming it Rebecca would also make sense, this referring to Rebecca Pearson, who was played by Mandy Moore on the show, since she continued driving the car after Jack's demise. Erin pushed the idea further by saying they could call it Becky, but the Sullivans interjected to that one, each agreeing that the only appropriate nickname would be Beck. After a little back and forth, Chris Sullivan eventually offered up the only fair solution to this harrowing dilemma, saying that one of the 2 Jeeps would be named Jack and the other would be named Rebecca. The video sadly concluded before we could see which was which in the end, leaving it up for fan speculation. Chris Sullivan is known as something of a vintage car collector and initially bought the 1990 Jeep Wagoneer back in May, letting Entertainment Weekly know that his wife was charmed by the car and said that the Pearson family was, quote, the only kind of vintage automobile that had ever sparked my wife's interest, end quote. It's lovely to know the 2 of them can share one of their hobbies now. What was the fan reaction for this clip? The comment section was hot, with fans excited for the twosome and praising Sullivan for making sure that the Jeep found themselves going to good homes. Someone wrote a comment about their worlds were colliding, noting that they're a fan of both couples. Someone posted a quote from the show, a well-remembered line, saying that there are no lemons with these 2, only lemonade, and they left a little lemon emoji at the end. Very cute. One made reference to how surprisingly similar the 2 couples seem to be, and now they've got matching cars to show for it. And while the video doesn't go into which car ended up with which nickname, one fan was quick to declare it themselves, saying that the Sullivans' Jeep is definitely Jack, and Erin and Ben's is for sure Beck. Well, that's a mighty bold claim to make, and now that the idea has been raised, I guess we'll open it to all of you. Which of the Jeeps do you think is which? Who was Jack and who was Rebecca? There you are, one of the video closing questions. A little early for you there. My treat. This Is Us executive producer Ken Olin tested an upcoming pilot. That's right, a new show is in the works right now with the backing of the producers of This Is Us. Not only is Ken Olin on board, but Justin Hartley, who not only played Kevin Pearson on the show, but was occasionally doing directorial duties. Hartley's lined up for the lead role in the new show, which Ken Olin tweeted out a teaser on October 5th. He said in the tweet that after working on it for 2 years, Justin Hartley and himself have finally begun filming the pilot for The Never Game. For those unaware, CBS ordered the pilot for this show back in September of 2021, a little over a year ago. Obviously, going by what Olin said, it took a while to convince them to get to that stage, and presumably, they had to completely finish up work from This Is Us before this project could become a reality. Like a lot of recent hit dramas, this show is based on a series of novels, this one being penned by Jeffrey Deaver. The book of the same name was first penned in 2019 and has quickly spawned a trilogy, with 3 total books being based around the protagonist Coulter Shaw, whom Justin Hartley will be portraying. Shaw is a loner and survivalist who roams around the country as a reward seeker, making use of expert tracking skills to aid private citizens and law enforcement alike as they try to solve all sorts of mysteries as well as try to deal with their own fragmented family life. Olin stated in a tweet that Ben Winters had written a brilliant script and that CBS had given them a home, before adding, quote, "Imagine Kevin Pearson as an action hero. Yep, hashtag no tears," end quote. He closed with a fingers crossed emoji showing that the project still has a ways to go before being 100% greenlit into a brand new TV show, but hopefully said that he'll see us in September, implying yet another year-long wait. Olin will be director of this pilot, and Hartley is not only the star but also an executive producer. The cast is also known to include Mary McDonnell in the role of Mary Dove Shaw, the strong-willed mother of Coulter. Will we be seeing this pilot make air? That's honestly a pretty interesting question, and sadly one that we will only have a very vague answer for. Maybe. See, a television pilot is a bit of a unique thing. It effectively means that a network has given them backing to make one episode, ostensibly, so that they can get an idea what the final product will be. Oftentimes these things are kept internal. Even if a network likes what they see, they might often want to alter some details, and thus the original pilot doesn't always totally resemble the final show. But of course, I'm sure you've seen a few pilots actually make air on television before, or perhaps streaming on the internet or other such service now. It's far from unheard of. This would suggest that the network isn't totally sure about going through with it or not, so they instead put the pilot out to the public as a bit of a test to see what audiences think of, and if they want more, the show's in a good spot. Of course, the network may just love the pilot so much that they greenlight the rest of the series on the spot, in which case, their filming might end being episode 1 of the new series instead. We'll just have to wait and see. Seems like we'll know by September of 2023 at the latest. And that's all the time we have for today's video. Are you happy to know that the Pearson family's 1990 Jeep Wagoneers have landed in good hands? Were you maybe hoping to be one to take them home yourself? What do you think of the upcoming potential show that Ken Olin and Justin Hartley are working on? Be sure to let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And until next time, thanks for watching.